let us take a tour and unveil the African beauty through Saba TV. Did you know that wherever you are in any SADC countries, you have the opportunity to travel and actually enjoy the most endowed country with natural attraction? Number one in the continent, number second in the globe, and that is Tanzania, the home to the highest peak in Africa, Kilimanjaro in Tanzania. In Saba TV, we will take you through to Serengeti to witness the great wild-beast migration, an opportunity of a lifetime. Down Serengeti will take you to Ngorongoro Crater to witness the volcanic eruption crater. But also the cradle of mankind. After enjoying Ngorongoro in Tanzania, let me take you to the most aromatic place. Hujambo, let us take a tour and unveil the African beauty through Saba TV.
Kwenye obvious.
Subiri, sorry.
Elimu ya Kiswahili. Saba TV, Kiafrika zaidi. Habari, karibu katika chaneli yako ya Saba TV Kiafrika zaidi. Hapa utapata maudhui mbalimbali kutoka katika nchi wanachama wa Jumuiya ya Maendeleo Kusini mwa Afrika, yaani SADC, na Tanzania ikiwa ni lango kuu la kiuchumi kupitia bandari ya Dar es Salaam. Shirika la utangazaji nchini Tanzania TBC litahakikisha unapata maudhui yote ndani ya Saba TV kutoka Tanzania, na haya utayapata ndani ya Saba TV kutoka Tanzania.
Naam, bila shaka hujambo mtazamaji wa TBC, ninakukaribisha katika dakika 100.
Karibu kwenye Habari, karibu katika chaneli yako ya Saba TV Kiafrika zaidi. Hapa utapata maudhui mbalimbali kutoka katika nchi wanachama wa Jumuiya ya Maendeleo Kusini mwa Afrika, yaani SADC, na Tanzania ikiwa ni lango kuu la kiuchumi kupitia bandari ya Dar es Salaam. Shirika la utangazaji nchini Tanzania TBC litahakikisha unapata maudhui yote ndani ya Saba TV kutoka Tanzania, na haya utayapata ndani ya Saba TV kutoka Tanzania.
Naam, bila shaka hujambo mtazamaji wa TBC, ninakukaribisha katika dakika 120 za TBC ya redio.
Mheshimiwa Rais, karibu sana kwenye kipindi maalum.
I said, but I don't come from Rwanda. But you come from Africa.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. I hope you're all quite fine. May I please request that we take our seats so that we may proceed. Mabibi na mabwana, habari za asubuhi. Karibuni tuketi, tuweze kuendelea. I wish I could say that in Portuguese and perhaps in French. Naomba tafadhali sana sijui kuna technical problem na screen yetu. Good morning, sir. Good morning. Karibuni mabibi na bwana. Naomba tuweke our translation pieces on. Nitakuwa nazungumza Kiswahili. Saa 3 na dakika 5, tusingependa kupoteza muda zaidi. Ni matumaini yetu kwamba tumepumzika vizuri baada ya siku ya ufunguzi ya mafanikio siku ya jana. Na pia natumaini kwamba mmefurahia sana mchapalo jana jioni pale Serena. Niliona tunachangamka, tumefurahi, burudani nzuri. Basi turejee kwenye siku ya kazi kwa siku ya leo, na tunaanza wakati huu. Tumepata changamoto kidogo ya screen yetu kuzimika kutokana na tatizo la umeme, lakini tunalifanyia kazi haraka. Ingekuwa ni vizuri turejee ya jana kidogo na tuangalie mbele. And so what faces us today kiratiba. Naomba nimkaribishe ndugu Benjamin Pius for a quick forward, and then we'll proceed with whatever technicalities we can within the next 2 or 3 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? Ready to take on day 2? Keyword here is digital. Karibu sana, Benjamin.
Asante sana, my friend. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. All right, I think we had the cocktail last night was a bit much, and then because I'm trying to say good morning, but only 3 people are coming back and answering me. So maybe we'll go again. Salam alaikum. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. I want to welcome you back to the second day of the Broadcast and Digital Media Convention. Once again, I want to first by thanking our hosts. I think I saw Dr. Chacha somewhere this morning in the room. Is Dr. Chacha around? Fantastic. And please appreciate the graciousness of our host. Once again, good morning. Can we please give Dr. Chacha a round of applause? So thank you very much. We have been having a great time so far, and you promised to deliver, and this is awesome. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. And also, whilst we are waiting for the presentation to start, I want to also use this opportunity to thank all the board members of the Southern Africa Broadcaster Association. You guys have always been supporting the Saba president, the Saba secretariat, and indeed the collaboration that Saba has with us at Broadcast Media Africa. Going forward, and before the end of the day, we will be announcing some of the other programs that we will be also engaging with Saba in the course of 2024. Chief of which, obviously, is the AGM and the Saba Convention 2024, which preliminary I can announce will be taking place in Seychelles. But we will give you further information to that at the closing ceremony. At this point also, I want to very much say a big thank you, big thank you to all the sponsors that have made these events possible, both from the international level, i.e. those that have supported this event from outside Tanzania, and those that are within Tanzania that have also supported this event. I think I have a few moments because I'm still waiting. As you can see, I'm trying to fill some gap before the audiovisuals come quick, but that is a good time for me to mention the names of these guys. So when I go through it, please, I want you to continue to give them your appreciation. So I think I will start first, as I have it on my list here, which you also have. I will start with Eutelsat. Can we please show appreciation for these guys as I call their names out? Eutelsat, SES, Telemedia, Star Times, Discover Digital, NNCs. We have Zipa, we have Habari Leo, Tanzania Standard Newspaper, France 24, RT, I have TCL, TCRA, EGA. I have PZ Bank, LATRA, AICC, and the Tanzania Investment Center. These are the guys, these are the organizations that have made sure that from the hosting and from the convening perspective, we are able to make sure this event is delivered. Before I go into the activities for today, I also want to echo the thanks that we always give to all our resource people, all our panelists, all our speakers, and all the VIPs that made sure that this event is well attended. You guys are the knowledge base. You are the people that actually tell us what is going on in the industry. On behalf of my team and on behalf of the team here at the TBC, the local team, please, thank you very much. And today, we will also be enjoying a lot from you. Because today we have lined up quite a bunch of presentations and panel discussions. We will start first by looking at the future of the DTH in the digital ecosystem. I was having a conversation with one of the representatives from SES yesterday whilst we were coming back from the dinner. And the question was, if we had known what we know now, when we knew it then, if you had known it then, would it have been better off for ourselves and our principals to have gone digital via DTH? But it is what it is. We are where we are now. So the current presentation that we're going to be talking about will be how we see the future of DTH in the digital ecosystem. And then we will also be delving into issues that talks about regulation, regulatory issues. I think we have people from Zanzibar, from Kilimanjaro on the screen. Is it time for us to link up with them? I think it's a good idea. It is a good idea. So I will just take 2 minutes to say, please have an awesome day today. As always, if you do need anything at all from this event, like contacts for the speakers or panelists or a person that you found here or you met here, or you want the presentations or what have you, that's our job as the convener. You can always talk to myself or to Cecil from the Saba Secretariat. Because I know this is supposed to be a live feed, I don't want to take much of your time. Have fun, and I will talk to you during the closing ceremony. Thank you very much. God bless you.
All right. Kwa hiyo tunaangalia nini kwenye screen zetu? Naomba let's put on our translation pieces. Tunaangalia nini kwenye screen zetu? Naomba nimkaribishe Bi Janet Maeda kutoka TTCL kwa dakika chache, Manager Product Promotion, aweze kutueleza hizi picha zina maana gani, hapo ni wapi, hao watu wanafanya nini. The Janet, are you ready? Or are you creating the link? Unatengeneza link? Katika tunasema bucket list ya maisha, kama utaweza, una afya njema ama unapenda tu challenge, bila shaka ukija Tanzania, ukipanga kuja Tanzania kwa wakati fulani, lenga kukwea, makeleza kukwea, kutambaa, kupanda mlima Kilimanjaro kwa uwezo ulionao. Sasa naomba nimkaribishe kwa makofi yenu Janet Maeda, TTCL wana provide wifi yetu hapa. Let's please put our hands together for her and let's go to the top of Mount Kilimanjaro.
Habari za asubuhi mabibi na mabwana. Naitwa Janet Maeda, kama MC alivyosema, ni manager product and promotion TTCL Corporation. Nitatapitisha kwa kifupi tu kile ambacho tunakifanya TTCL, lakini pia nitajana katika makala mlioyaona kabla tujaanza session zetu. Kuna makala ambayo TBC waliandaa na wakaonesha kitu amazing. Kwa hiyo nitawapitisha kwenye presentation yangu, alafu baadaye kile amazing thing nitawaonesha leo live. TTCL Corporation, we do our transformation ecosystem, whereby TTCL is a Go national telecom infrastructure provider. Through the upgrading NICBB, which borders 8 countries. It's a center data respiratory by offering ISO-certified data center solutions and facilities. Also, an e-government services gateway by hosting key ICT infrastructures and services. Also, TTCL is a gateway to national e-security by enhancing safety and security viability of the national telecommunications sector. And also it's a center for consultancy and technical support on all ICT-related matters. Also in TTCL, we create meaningful solutions through a value addition on social and economic aspect of individual and community in everyday's life. It also ensures eco-service accessibility as a center. We also ensure data safety and security, 24/7 availability, and also our data center is a reliable has a reliable power supply and cooling capacity. It's a free access to data and also access to the entire NICBB IAP MPLS VPN network countrywide. In TTCL, we have a national ICTB broadband backbone, whereby, as you can see, inside Tanzania, we are all over the regions. And all over is almost in 6 districts. And we are planning by 2024, all the districts will be supplied with our national backbone. But in Tanzania, we have this product called Fiber Mlangoni Kwako, whereby through our national ICTBB, we were able to go to door through our product called, in English we say, fiber at your doorstep, whereby we go to each door, we do install fiber free of charge, and through this, our aim is by 2024, almost each door should be supplied with TTCL fiber. So I welcome you guys in Tanzania. Make sure you have this product, Fiber Mlangoni Kwako. We install for free. Only what you have to do is to subscribe your bundle. Also, we supply national data fiber, our backbone, in 8 countries through different borders. Like in Kenya, we offer this national backbone through Namanga, in Uganda, in Mtukula, Rwanda, Kasumulo. The same applies in border of Burundi, DRC, Zambia, and Malawi. And since the Saba Summit countries you are here, as you can see, you're 7-8. So I will welcome you guys from Saba to also have our fiber. Karibuni sana, sana. Through this national backbone, we were able also to provide public Wi-Fi in open spaces like our national stadium, Mkapa, but also we were able to take our national backbone to the highest peak ever in the world, called Mountain Kilimanjaro. And our team, I would like you to portray our Mountain Kilimanjaro so that people can see their mountain live. Through this, we were able to, tumefanikiwa kuongeza maswali kwa wanafunzi wetu kwamba ni katika dunia bara ambalo limefanikiwa kufikisha internet katika kilele cha juu zaidi ni bara la Afrika. Kwa hiyo you guys you have to clap for yourself. Lakini pia wanafunzi wetu watajifunza kwamba swali ambalo ni kwamba nchi gani ambayo imefanikisha kupeleka internet katika kilele cha juu zaidi ni nchi ya Tanzania. Kwa hiyo Watanzania tujipigie pia makofi. Lakini zaidi ya yote ni nani aliyeweza kufikisha interneti hii katika kilele cha juu zaidi duniani? Ni TTCL. Kwa hiyo tunawapongeza TTCL kwa kuwezesha kwamba katika kilele cha juu zaidi duniani kuna internet, na internet hii imepelekwa na mkongo wetu wa taifa. Na hapa tunapoonesha ni kamera ambazo zimefungwa, tuko live kabisa. Nitaomba muoneshe zile 4 ili waone ni vituo tofauti. Tumevionyesha vichache lakini tumeviweka kwenye vituo tofauti kuanzia watalii wanapoanza pale kwenye gate la Mbarangu mpaka kileleni. Unaweza kuwaona live. Zamani ilikuwa mtu anapopanda mlima Kilimanjaro ilikuwa anapotea kabisa kwamba hana communication na outside world, ambapo ilikuwa ukiondoka tunakutegemea mpaka ukirudi ndio tutajua taarifa zako. Lakini sasa hivi kupitia TTCL mkongo wa taifa umefanikisha kufikisha kwenye kilele cha juu zaidi ambapo ni kilele cha Uhuru Peak. Hapo kileleni tumefikisha internet kwa njia ya fiber. Kwa hiyo tujipongeze wa Tanzania kwamba tumeweza. Kwa hiyo wageni wetu, hichi mnachokiona tuko live kabisa katika kilele cha mlima Kilimanjaro, lakini pia kwenye vituo tofauti tofauti. Hichi mnachokiona kinaendelea ni live kabisa coverage ya mlima Kilimanjaro. Kwa hiyo TTCL ilidea kwamba kama tunaweza kufikisha mawasiliano katika kilele cha juu duniani, basi hakuna mahali tutashindwa kufikisha. Na hapa tunasubiri tu waingize kwenye maajabu ya 8 ya dunia, kwa sababu Afrika imeweza na tumekuwa wa kwanza. Kwa hiyo nadhani wataalamu watakuwa wanamalizia kutuweka katika maajabu ya 8 ya dunia. Kwa jinsi hiyo ninawa encourage wageni wetu to next time au wakirudi kule nchi zao waweze kuwarudishia feedback hii kwamba kilele cha mlima Kilimanjaro unaweza kupanda na communicate na outside world live kabisa mpaka kilele cha mlima Kilimanjaro. Asanteni sana na washukuru. Karibuni TTCL. TTCL, open the door to digital economy. Tunafungulia milango ya uchumi kidijitali. Asanteni sana.
So a fantastic presentation nzuri, wasilisho zuri sana kutoka TTCL. Ukaribisho ndio huo. naomba tafadhali sana mmeshamfahamu. Kama mtakuwa na lengo na nia yote ya kufanya biashara na TCCL, basi karibuni. Tuendelee sasa, tunaanza saa 3:30 au kabla tu ya saa 3:30, na wasilisho letu la kwanza kwa siku ya leo ni The Future of DTH in the Digital Ecosystem. Huyu ni Theodore Asampong, CEO wa West African Platform Services. Naomba tumpigie makofi mengi sana. Karibu sana Theodore, uweze kuendelea. Naamini kwamba maandalizi katika console yapo tayari. Naomba tufanye mabadiliko kutoka kwenye picha za mlima Kilimanjaro. Tuweze sasa kumpresent Theodore. Na pia nitaomba kwa wasilisho lolote linalofuata tuweze kuwa na maandalizi ya mapema, tafadhali, ili transition kati ya moja na nyingine iweze kuwa nzuri. Theodore, you are introduced. Karibu sana. You'll take us to 10 a.m. in the morning, so you have 30 minutes. Whether you wish to interact with the audience and so forth, well, you've got your good 30 minutes. Dakika 30.
Asante sana. Thank you very much. Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. All right, okay. I'm sure we all had a fantastic evening last night at the Serena. Thank you to the organizers. I certainly did. I made new friends. Hello all. So my name is Theodore Asampong. I work with SCS, and I'm also the CEO of West Africa Platform Services, a platform in Ghana for free-to-air channels. So today I'll be talking to you about the future of DTH and digital ecosystem. DTH mainly also means satellite broadcast. Okay, so a lot is going on with OTT and video over internet and so on. What does it mean for those of us who consume or work with DTH, right? But let's talk about who SCS is first. Please watch a video.
To share stories, share experiences, and to deliver amazing experiences everywhere on Earth. We do the extraordinary in space. We own and operate the first and only multi-orbit fleet of satellites, seamlessly integrated with intelligent terrestrial networks to reach 99% of the world's population. Our team continuously monitors and manages your video and data networks, your services, to connect more people, more businesses, and more missions with the world's most valuable content, with high-performance data, and with cloud-enabled applications. We listen, engage, and execute so you can achieve exactly what you need from your satellite-enabled solution. From planning and implementation services to ongoing maintenance, training, and consulting, the SES way of working guarantees your end users an exceptional experience wherever they are. Shared experiences, shared stories with infinite opportunities, made possible by connection. Take your story anywhere with SES.
Wow, great. So what do? We do the extraordinary in space to deliver amazing experiences everywhere on Earth. And we do that with these partners. As you can see, most of them broadcasters in Africa as well. SES video, we reach over almost 370 million homes in the world. And this is how we're distributed across the continent. This equates to over 1 billion people on this planet. We deliver over 8,000 channels, 5,000 of those in SD approximately, 3,000 HD, and also we're the leader in ultra-high definition delivery. 38% of what we deliver is in HD, and that continues to grow. But let me come to why I am here. So we know that more and more people are consuming content via internet, OTT, and so on. But what is really going on in Africa as far as internet penetration is concerned, and are we really ready to consume video over internet? So currently, only 5% of all homes in Africa subscribe to an OTT service like a Netflix or Amazon and so on and so forth. And my colleague from, my friend from UTSA spoke about this yesterday as well. The numbers are the same. It is projected that it will reach 7% by 2028. But that doesn't mean there are no demand for OTT video in Africa. Also, currently only 10% of homes in Africa have access to fixed internet. So compared to mobile, fixed internet coming in with cable or some kind of fiber device. This also explains the low adoption of OTT video in Africa. And also among these total internet homes, only 15% have something that really makes the experience worthwhile. So that number is quite dismal. But there is good news. If you look at those homes that have fixed internet, almost half of those homes have taken up OTT service. So that demand is actually quite high. I mean, the reason why OTT demand in general overall is low is because of the lack of this kind of fast internet. And it's forecasted that this will grow to about 55%. Wrong slide, sorry. This is it. This will grow to about 55% by 2028. But there are a number of people with mobile devices in Africa. I mean, it's estimated that about 60% of the population have access to mobile data. This is huge, but this also poses a huge headache for those who deliver content over internet. According to Cisco, over 80% of data going through networks is video, and that's huge. That is costly for the operators to manage such a network. Okay, so what can be the answer for a continent like Africa? Come in, DVB and IP. You probably heard about this before. It is quite simply streaming content over satellite. So allowing DTH services to basically deliver OTT content to your devices at home. It would reduce cost, it will simplify content and service personalization, and also improve sustainability by eliminating duplicated streaming sessions. I won't go too much into this detail, but what that means is that DVB and IP can replace DVB S2, which is the technology we use today, allowing us or the content delivery guys to put the same type of content over satellite into a device at home that can be connected to your iPad, your mobile phone, your smart TV and everything else. So you can enjoy the same OTT experience over satellite without the need for internet at all. And this is, of course, great news for Africa. There are many use cases, of course. You can use these. You can use these to basically back up CDNs or replace CDNs. CDNs are those servers that move OTT around, and it's quite costly. This satellite allows you, this device, DVB and IP allows you to do that. Okay. It can also be used to, for DTT operators, and those who are doing DTT here, don't kill me, but this is coming. You know, this NIP solution can allow you to move some of your DTT to 5G distribution as DVBI. This is coming. This can be done over satellite. Okay, so it can also complement your DTT solutions. It can be used in public spaces or even schools for distance learning. I mean, we are about to demo something in Nigeria right now using a similar solution where schools can connect to this device with their tablets and get the content whilst the teacher is teaching them. So this is all possible through DVB and IP. But not so fast. Because if you look into the data, really, we don't have to rush. We don't have to panic at all. You know, a lot of our consumption in Africa is still via DTH, via satellite. And this data shows it from data access. The blue line is the DTH free-to-air line, and the dark blue is DTH pay TV. So combining the two, there's a lot of DTH going on by satellite, okay? So if you look at this again, you can see that satellite distribution continues to grow while terrestrial remains almost flat. You know, we are projected to reach about 67% by 2027. So we don't have to panic and start running around looking for DVB and IP solutions. However, this can be introduced to provide something for those who want to have OTT. So if you saw the data before, 50% of people with fixed internet have taken up OTT. So if you can put it over satellite and make it available to all, we're sure that more people will adopt it, and it could be complementary to the existing free-to-air services. Right, let me go back and do a little bit of a sales pitch again. Let's talk about SES in Africa. We have 4 video neighborhoods reaching 50 million TV homes from the homes that we have surveyed using our satellite monitor data, 8 DTH platforms, and delivering over 1,500 TV channels. For the TV channels, there we go. I'm trying to manage 2 devices here, sorry. You can see that, of course, majority is SD, but HD continues to grow gradually. We have now almost, 300, 400 HD channels, and that will grow. See, SD is flattening out, but HD is going up. In Ghana, we launched a new platform called HD Plus. And why did we do this? Because we realized that over 50% of homes have flat screen TVs that are HD capable. And this solution, or this platform, allows a consumer to choose whether they want to watch a local TV channel in HD or SD. So what we do is we distribute 20 of our top local TV channels on this platform, and the consumer has a choice. And that is doing quite well. So HD adoption is also growing. I mean, last night I was speaking to one of the delegates here, and they only like to watch their content in high definition, and it was interesting to hear. So HD is indeed something that we all want to have. Okay. From all these orbital positions, this is the distribution of the homes. You will see at the far end, at 57 East, we have Ethiosat, which is reaching 10 million homes, and we launched that not so long ago. My colleague Menen is here. She looks after that platform in Ethiopia. Well done. In just 2 or 3 short years, we've reached 10 million homes with a free-to-air platform. Okay, so, and at 28.2, this is where I play a role. We have the West Africa platform services there, and also some services in Nigeria. We reach about 11 million homes in the Western Central Africa region. So satellite really continues to drive consumption in those homes. If you look at our distribution, Nigeria makes up 28% of our 50 million homes, followed by Ethiopia with that 10 million homes, with 20%, and then Ghana and so on. And finally, you can see that in Ghana alone, because we started this platform more than 10 years ago, we reached 94% of all satellite homes. But when it comes to all the homes, we reach 67%. If you go to Nigeria, we reach 40% of all satellite homes, and if you go to Ethiopia, it's 88%, and this number continues to grow. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is it. I hope I kept it short. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to everyone. Theodore actually finished a little bit earlier than anticipated. So we're just busy, running the affairs here, and we were caught unaware. But with that said, it does not mean we are not ready to rock and roll this morning. Thank you very much, Theodore. I think you really deserve another round of applause, isn't it? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And that actually means that there is a lot we need to discuss. And that is what we will be discussing on the platform this morning, looking at content distribution, how set the Africa is to receive and distribute content, and how well placed we are in terms of regulation to do all this and all that. So please, hold on to the seats. It's gonna be a rough ride, yes, because we will be pumping a lot. You will be receiving a lot of information, communication, content and all that. Just a second. So, yeah, as I said, we're actually just trying to land this morning with the confirmations of who's next. And we actually confirming that the next speaker is ready on the floor. So let me hand over now to the MC. Thank you so much.
All right, after Theodore, baada ya Theodore, Engineer Andrew Kisaka, on the next keynote, broadcasting in the digital era, regulatory perspective, the case in Tanzania, kwa sababu yeye ni manager wa broadcasting services wa Tanzania Communications Regulatory Authority, TCRA, our regulator here in Tanzania. Ladies and gentlemen, your hands, karibu sana.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Habari ya asubuhi. Yeah, I'm delighted to be part of this forum as a regulator, knowing that speaking with the public broadcaster for the regulator is a very important partner. For us, we consider public broadcaster has a unique responsibility in broadcasting. So you are a very important partner in providing broadcasting services. Now, I will give you some background on regulatory perspective, and I will try to touch a little bit about the characteristics of traditional and new media. And then I will go through the general principle of public broadcaster, Tanzania perspective, regulatory challenges, and I will conclude. Those will be my area of presentation. Now, all of us, we know the importance of the media, and that when we liberalized the media market, that's where the importance of regulating the media came in. And the objective is to ensure pluralism, independence, while creating a vibrant media. The legal and the regulatory context is the key to determine operationalization of the media in the liberalized media market. It's very key. For example, we have defined who is a public broadcaster. But with this advancement of technology, you will find that that definition now is no longer valid, because we have some government institutions which they are running broadcasting business. Like for those who are Tanzanian, Maelezo TV, Railway TV. So if you go back on how we define the public broadcaster, you will find that they are also fitting in to be considered as a public broadcaster. I understand in South Africa they have reviewed in their white paper, they have indicated the same concern. So this advancement of technology, it creates some assignment for the regulator to go back and see if these definitions which are in regulation are still valid. So most of the law and regulation governing provision of the media services in Africa, most of them started early 90s. Here is just a background, but now all of us, we know that with this era, digital era, we now have online content which is created and distributed online. So we regard it as internet-based content. And we have come up with the number of receiver, TV sets, smart TV, laptop, tablets, smartphone. All these playing significant role in broadcasting digital era. And also the services technology has converged. That's why we as the regulator, most of us, we have come up with what we called converged licensing framework. Now, let me go back, as I said, let us, all of us, go through characteristics of traditional and new media services. Terrestrial, we have terrestrial in traditional media, we have wired. These all are the platform for traditional media. But with the new digital technology, we have added usage of internet. Now, what are the traditional media characteristics? One, they have formal organization structure with qualified employees which ensure quality of content produced. They normally, most of them, use scarce resource, spectrum, with high cost of content production and airing of content. But also, they have stringent regulatory framework. They have to adhere with the laws, regulations, guidelines, and media ethics. Coming to new media characteristics, most of them, I can say all new media, which are, as I said, internet-based content, they are not bounded by geographical borders due to usage of internet. No need of using scarce resource. Reduced cost in establishment of station, hence decreased barrier to entry. If you went through Dr. Rioba's presentation, you'll find out that we have licensed more than 200 online TV and online radio. There is no barrier when you want to start this business. It's very easy. They have interactive services. They can also use international platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and also they have multiple sources of content. Opportunities. This we can consider as opportunities to traditional media. First, they can also, these traditional media, are part of having their infrastructure subscriber using the traditional platform. They can increase subscriber base by using internet services. All of us, we are witnessing that all public broadcasters, they have started social media accounts. But also, another opportunity, it is easier to share content beyond geographical borders, but also reduce the cost in expansion of services to new areas. Also, they are enjoying interactive services. These are regarded as opportunities. But what are the threats? Threat to traditional media is competition from content originating from other countries due to usage of internet. And another thing is competition from content from within the country, including yesterday we have seen who known as citizen journalism. We have to recognize them, although they are not ethical, but they are there. And of monopoly of advertising cake as digital platforms like Google and Facebook share a substantial portion of advertising budgets. These are the threats. Now, let me come back to the general principle of the public broadcaster. As I said, regulator, we consider public broadcaster having a unique responsibility to the public. You cannot mix public and the commercial. Public has to differentiate himself from commercial broadcasters. The public, one of the characteristics of the public broadcaster is made for the public, financed by the public. Even that financial model should be reliable, sustainable, and trustworthy. If it's not reliable, if it's not sustainable, that kind of financing public broadcaster doesn't deserve. It's not a good financing model. Public broadcaster needs to be assured of his budget. So the financing model should be reliable, sustainable, and trustworthy. Normally, the public broadcaster is not for profit, is non-profit, and has universal service obligation in terms of coverage and the content diversity. Non-discriminatory, and the programming has to cater for the public interest. Me, as a citizen of Tanzania, I have to appreciate that this is my property. I have contributed to run this station, and I feel it's my property. So the programming has to cater for public interest. Features: universal service obligation. Reliability, trustworthy because of its coverage. It can change public opinion in a range of issues. The public broadcaster has an obligation to motivate public to change and improve livelihood, to carry public interest and the national agenda. Quality and innovation. This is a very important features of the public broadcaster. Yesterday, we were discussing anything, any news, any information coming from public broadcaster, it has to be credible, reliable. So in this social media, we are getting a lot of information, breaking news. But at the end, me as a citizen of Tanzania, I have to cross-check. If this information true, I go back to the public broadcaster. That's where you will get your credibility. Programming has to promote cultural identity. If I go to Botswana, in Namibia, in my hotel, if I want to know who are Namibians, let me access a public broadcaster channel. So you have your unique responsibility. Programming to promote cultural identity, cultural heritage, and the natural resource. You have to promote national unity, social cohesion, and patriotism. You have to promote democratic values, social justice, and human rights. Quality broadcasting infrastructure, and you need to have skilled staff. That's why I said your financing should be reliable and sustainable. Now, Tanzania perspective. In Tanzania, we are having 4 main broadcasting regulations. One is taking care for radio and television broadcasting content, which covers obligation of content service provider, such as public broadcaster, commercial, and the community. It also provides requirements for content provision, program code of conduct, and we have another regulations which deals with broadcasting networks. It covers issues of signal distributor and content service provider, technical standards, DTT networks, all of this. This is another regulation which covers digital networks. And also, we have online content regulation. We had a good discussion yesterday. We as the regulator, we need to ensure that people, online content users, there is a organized manner which they can use that cyberspace. So we thought that we need regulation, we need guidelines. And it's not always that you can, by having regulation, you can finish all problems which we are facing in internet. The idea here is to reduce and create awareness to the users that they should not use social media or internet the way they would like to do. So we have these online content regulations which covers a number of issues. As of the February 2023, this is the number of television station, radio, online television, as it has been displayed there. Now let me go back to the challenges. The challenge we are facing in this digital era is mechanism for promoting content with the national interest in era of multiple content platform. Also, another challenge which we are facing is the mechanism for ensuring, measuring and ensuring local content quota in different platforms. Every country, even in Europe, everywhere, where the regulator has to put emphasis on local content and has to be able to measure it. But with the digital era, it's become very challenging to measure local content quota. Monopoly, it's something which regulator doesn't want. But ensuring global platform, you cannot exercise monopoly of the market. You cannot ensure that there is no monopoly of the market. But also we have to ensure that the global platform do not impose their agenda through biased algorithm. There are issues as the regulator of quality of service, quality of experience. Quality of service and quality of experience measurement in multiple content platform becomes very challenging. Poor quality content produced by unqualified players, and also it's very difficult to ensure or create a level playing field for different content platforms. Online content, they are operating in a different regulatory environment, so creating a level playing field becomes more challenging. Fighting unethical content originating outside the country, and also to develop a regulation that might still protect and sustain traditional media which is used by the majority. Let me conclude by saying the electronic regulatory framework has to seek for conducive environment that will attract investment in the media. That's number one. But also, the regulatory framework has to cope with global trends of offering media services and technological changes, but also practicing ethics and professionalism in providing media services, but also promoting growth and the universal access of information. Regardless, change and advancement of technology, the role of public broadcaster has to remain the same. Thank you very much.
All right, let's put our hands together to Engineer Kisaka. Tunachoendelea nacho hivi sasa ni panel discussion, mabibi na bwana. Kwa hiyo kutoka presentation ya kwanza na ya pili, tuna feed in kwa ya tatu na expert panel, na ndugu Cecil naona yuko kwenye short consultation kidogo. namkaribisha yeye kwanza aweze kuset the tone, alafu kisha baada ya hapo amkaribishe the moderator na tuwe tuna hakika kabisa kwamba panelists wote wataweza kujiunga naye hapa juu. Tutakuwa tunajiunga na mmoja kati ya washiriki online. Naamini kwamba naomba tujiandae tafadhali ili aweze kushiriki. Naomba tumpigie simu au tuwe tuna hakika kwamba yuko online tayari. Sasa whenever you're ready, we'll be happy to welcome you officially on stage now. Ladies and gentlemen, we move on with the next panel. Karibu sana Cecil. With your hands, tafadhali.
Asante sana. Yeah, I think I have greeted earlier, and we are ready now. A very good afternoon, good morning again. My duty now is very short and brief, and that is to call upon the next panel to take us through a very critical and important topic. And that is very, 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 very central to broadcasting in Africa, especially when we have to set ourselves, ready for taking the next media into the next generation. Allow me now to call upon the Saba president to the podium, who will be moderating the session for us. His name is Mr. Stanley Similo. Some of them call him Dr. Stanley Similo. I do not know whether he's a doctor or not, but he is Mr. Stanley Benjamin Similo. He will be moderating the session. A round of applause for him, please. Please help me welcome him. He will be joined by Mr. Eustace Nkandu, who's the Acting Director General of Independent Broadcasting Authority in Zambia. Mr. Nkandu, please welcome to the podium. He's a regulator, and regulators, you know how they are, right? They always find fault in what you do as a broadcaster. He will be joined by another regulator, a sister, a very well-known one in the broadcasting industry for so long and regulating the broadcasters. Her name is Maseho Jeremiah. Dumelama. All right. She's the director at BOCRA. BOCRA's actually the Botswana Communication Authority. And she's sitting where the SADC headquarters are, and that is in Gaborone. Allow me to also welcome James Marenga. We call it Marenga. In Namibia, we have a similar name. We all know we all come from the Great Lakes. So James Marenga is representing MISA, or he's at the MISA chapter, of the Tanzanian MISA chapter in, I suppose, Dar es Salaam or Ngorongoro? Dar es Salaam, exactly. And let me also welcome a young technician from the University of Zanzibar, Mr. Mtenzi Joel, who will be joining the panel. And without much ado, let me hand over to the Saba president to take us further into this panel. Mr. President, the mic is yours. Thank you. Joel.
Good morning to everybody. And let me welcome a very distinguished panel that will seek to unpack the aspect of regulation. And also let me thank Andrew for having given us the perspective from a Tanzanian perspective. Now, ordinarily, sometimes when broadcasters and telcos hear about regulators, it's not all about smiles, because regulators are at the best of times seen as the bad guys, because they are all about enforcing, sometimes changing ways in which business has been done. Hence, that relationship is at the best of times one, I don't want to categorize it as being adversary in nature, but at the best of times it's a difference in opinion that will work on many things. But that being said, broadcasters and telcos will have a view, and the regulators ordinarily will have the regulations, which by definition then becomes law in a way. With that said, I want to welcome Mr. Nkando. He is from Zambia, the IBA, the DG, and he will give us a perspective on how things are done at that end. And equally, Ms. Masejo from Bokra in Botswana as well. And then next to her is Mr. Advocate Marenga.
Good morning. Thank you.
Is with Misa, but from Tanzania. And then is it Mienzi Joel?
Good morning.
From Zanzibar. Yes. I think as a precursor into our discussion, Mr. Nkando, when you think regulation, in your view, what is your prime job? 30 seconds to that opening statement.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. And as the Independent Broadcasting Authority, we are really excited to be part of this very, very important gathering where we'll be able to already exchanging our views. Certainly, you are very correct in your introductory remarks, when you talk about the perception of a regulator, because all of us, if we were to be left to our own devices, will certainly choose to not to be controlled. There is an implied meaning in regulation that somebody wants to control things. However, I think regulation is about creating a fair playing field, making sure that there is fairness, much as you are also promoting competition. So for us, I think as a regulator, we see ourselves as an institution that is there to ensure that the playing field is leveled for everybody to operate in a manner that will make them sustainable. If they are profit motivated, they will make their own profit. If they are there to provide a service, they'll be able to provide a service in an environment that is very conducive from a legal point of view, from a regulatory framework point of view. And basically, our role also is to facilitate growth of the broadcasting sector. That is how we position ourselves, especially as the Independent Broadcasting Authority in Zambia.
Thank you very much for a short, precise, but very important definition in terms of your own experience. The Bokra experience in Botswana, in terms of regulation, just an opening statement around that.
Thank you very much and good morning. Ours, I would say, is a bit more interesting because we regulate in a space where the regulations or our act actually exempts the public broadcaster from regulation, therefore leaving us only with the commercial broadcaster. But our main mandate is basically to ensure that we balance the scale between the policymaker, the market players, as well as protecting the consumers or the audience in our case in broadcasting. So we do this to ensure that the audience is informed, the audience is educated, and they are entertained at the same time. So it's always a bit of a challenge to try and create the level playing field that my colleague here just talked about, while we are in an environment where the commercial broadcasters are regulated by one entity, which is us, the authority, and then the public broadcaster is regulated from the Office of the President or the Ministry of State Presidency.
Thank you very much also for just setting the scene in terms of we can already see the difference in terms of what the two countries for now. Advocate, if you can also maybe throw in a penny's worth of the same in just setting the scene around a regulation, how you see it.
Thank you very much. I'm not the regulator, by the way, but we have been regulated, and Tanzania, as the presenters have said, they are doing fine on regulations, actually. I mean, the regulators, TCRA, we have TCRA with us, and they are regulating well when it comes to issues of content, basing on contents, because we have some laws. We have our laws around, we have the regulations around, and online content regulations, which has been regulating the contents most of the time. TCRA, as a regulator, has been regulating well, actually, in Tanzania. So we don't have any problem so far. But the content is a problem, but then they're trying their best to regulate the content.
Thank you very much. Joel.
Yes.
A perspective from your end.
First of all, I'd like just say thank you for this golden opportunity. As young technicians and in this industry, I've been growing up witnessing what has been happening, all the transformation from traditional era to the digital era. And I have got a few of things that I have to put across concerning the regulation in Tanzania generally, and also here in Zanzibar. I think it works the same as it is in mainland also as well. But one thing I've just seen is that what the regulators want is how the content is portrayed. So the kind of content that is supposed even to be seen by the audience, and there are laws to be followed. Actually, when you want to start, it's let me say it's a business. Actually, if you want to maybe have your own online service, you have to undergo some stages before you're given that permission to do whatever you want to do. So the online, the Act number 538 of 2020 was amended, and it was to effect the great online content services or online media's platforms, and the issue was to give step towards having data protection, how data should be protected. And this is very important, actually. Before, as you can see, even back in the days, we used to have these online streaming services, a lot of them which did not follow, could not follow the law. But as we can see now, because of the law, we have very few of them, because it's also very expensive to follow the law. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Joel. And it's good that you bring in the element of changes in technology that have necessitated changes in how these laws should be or rules should be implied. And maybe quickly checking with you, Masego, in the case of Botswana, at the best of times, we will find you have the telco, you have the broadcasters, private and public, and then you have postal services. And you will also find that we might have more than one regulator having to deal with an ecosystem that is so intertwined in terms of operation. How does one deal with that? Because at the best of times, it could most will be a great thing, but I from face value, it could potentially also create a friction, because remember, once offices are established, everybody wants to protect their turf protection, and that normally will result in those that need to abide and those that are at the receiving end of receiving services suffering because of bureaucratic systems within a process of regulation.
Thank you for that. Yeah, that's a very pertinent issue. We used to have that in our country because initially the broadcasting was regulated by an entity called the National Broadcasting Board, and then telecommunications was regulated by the Botswana Telecoms Authority. And when we noticed that there was a convergence of services, there was then a decision made to ensure that the regulatory functions are also merged. So we now have everything regulated under one roof. Of course, it can't be everything. When I'm talking about regulating different services, communication services under one roof, I'm talking telecommunications, broadcasting, postal, as well as ICT or internet services. But we all know that it is quite a bit of a challenge to regulate internet services. But that doesn't mean we don't have any challenges or frictions with other regulators, because we find ourselves right now in a space where there's cross-border digital finance services that are coming in, and consumers are exploited, they're losing money, especially when they're accessing the OTT services that were talked about this morning, that were discussed this morning. And now that then puts us as Bokra under fire, because when you talk about OTT services, people believe that it's communication. So anything that is related to that, we therefore must take full responsibility for it. But the truth of the matter is that when it comes to financial transactions, the financial regulator then has to take over. So we are sort of pointing at each other when it comes to now consumer protection as who has to ensure that the consumer is protected, especially that these OTTs don't originate from our own countries. When you talk about your Netflixes or other service providers that you don't have control over, you can't regulate, and yet they're operating within your space, they're providing service to your audience or to your citizens. So it's a bit of a challenge there. What we then tried to do with some regulators is develop an MOU, a Memorandum of Understanding. At least we've done that with the Competition Authority, because there are competition issues again within the communication sector, including broadcasting. And whenever they do their investigations, we are able to give them information. And when we do our own investigations, they're able to give us information and even carry out the investigations with us in order to ensure that there's fairness within the industry.
Within the process. Thank you very much for that insight, because I know that it is something that can create a problem. Eustace, just latching on what Ms. Maseko just said now, I want you to touch 10, 15 seconds on that as well from your own experience. But I want you to extend the discussion to the element of what technology offers today. There are new entrants. Let's assume they are legal. They will be coming into a domain where others have been established for many years. Their pockets are deep. They can deal with whatever happens there. Do regulators take this into consideration when they are issuing, for instance, licenses? Issues like infancy protection, quotas that need to be achieved. Would you want the same for a new entrant, either from a payment perspective or from what they would have to deliver from a content perspective?
Thank you very much once again. I'd like to pick it up from where Bokra left. For us, we have a totally different setup in the sense that the broadcasting regulator exists as an independent entity, and then we do have a regulator that is responsible for telecoms and internet and all those services. This is, of course, still taking into account the fact that there's convergence of technology. But I think what our country fears is that when we have a converged regulator, there's a possibility that certain sectors might be ignored. So as it is now, broadcasting is regulated by the Independent Broadcasting Authority. Then when it comes to spectrum management, we have our sister regulator, that is the Zambia Information and Communications Technology Authority, that issues a spectrum for broadcasting as well as other services. However, the conversation going on now is that our law, as well as their law, is being repealed and replaced to ensure that when it comes to the component of broadcasting, spectrum management, that will then be transferred to the broadcaster, to the broadcaster, regulator, so that we have a one-stop shop where everything is done. Currently, it is a little bit cumbersome, and also it's adding a cost of doing business, raising the cost of doing business, because one has to get a license from us and then another license for spectrum for another regulator. I think that is currently the only challenge that we have in terms of the two systems. Otherwise, the focus is there, because when it comes to matters to do with broadcasting, there's a regulator that who address both consumer affairs issues as well as matters related to content and licensing. But of course, our law takes into account, it's enshrined in our law that first we have to, work together with the Competition Commission. We have to work together also with ZICTA. So, like, BOCRA, we have MOUs with these institutions so that we have a seamless kind of transaction when it comes to the licensing process or when it comes to dealing with consumer protection. Currently, in our country, I think our Competition Commission conducted a study to do with the cost of pay TV in the country, and we were the major sources of information. They had to rely on the IBS. So it's working well at the moment. But coming to the issue to do with the protection of entry. One of the things that we do, is that just at the point of advertising, because we are required to advertise, to say in these areas we do have frequencies that are available. The one thing that we do, to just help those new applicants is actually to conduct what are called public inquiries. We go into those areas where we have advertised, and those that are interested, we bring them together and educate them, take them through, and ensure them that we literally take them by the hand and lead them, into the process, so that increases the chances of them, getting a license. And even when they get a license, they'll be able to understand fully what is supposed to happen or what is expected of them. So there is some kind of hand-holding that takes place at the point of licensing. We also do have an interaction, an interview session, where we just want to assess their readiness in terms of joining the sector. We also do have some provisions in the Act that gives them a bit of time to settle down. So when we are licensed, you are expected within 120 days to commence broadcasting. But reality is that very few of them start, that. But as a regulator, we go an extra mile to guide them by just telling them, give us your timelines. When do you think you're going to be ready? Of course, these timelines have to be realistic. But it helps a lot, because if we're going to strictly apply the law, 120 days, goes by, then we have to, cancel that license. So we really are patient with them. The first 1 year, they do not pay what we call annual operating fee, because they have really not operated. So we exempt them from payment of such a fee until they begin to operate. And there's also training as a regulator, much as it is not enshrined in our act that we need to get involved in capacity building. But what we do is, especially for community radio stations, the moment they set up, we require them to invite the authority to go and train their boards, their management and staff on a number of issues. Where we do not have the capacity, we invite, other people to go and do that and deliver that for us. So basically, there is, within the regulatory framework, we have embedded in, the hand-holding process, and also nurturing of those that are new entrants on the market.
That's quite commendable to note that, at least in terms of leveling the playing field, that there is a deliberate legal process that seeks to address that. Advocate Marenga, in terms of advocacy for the end user, the public, in terms of own experience, most probably through the chapter of MISA, what do you pick up on the ground as it relates to services that people are getting? Are there stumbling blocks? Are people happy? I would assume that part of what you do as MISA is also to check the landscape in order to appreciate its full nature, almost like everything around it, from regulator to government to operators.
Asante. Sasa namfikiri translator, do your work. Nizungumze sasa kwa nyumbani, kwa lugha ya nyumbani. Sisi kama MISA na kama party ya taasisi sio kwa ya kiserikali ambayo mostly tunadili na waandishi wa habari kama wanachama, issue ya regulation, kwa maana ya regulation, kwa sababu kama nilivyosema kwa Tanzania tuna kanuni na kanuni hizi zimetengenezwa na waziri anayesimamia masuala haya ya mawasiliano, na zimekuwa zikibadilishwa mara kwa mara. Tokea mwaka 2002 zimefanywa marekebisho hizo kanuni za maudhui mtandaoni, ambazo ndo zina take across na zinadhibiti swala zima la maudhui hapa nchini. Na of course wakati zimetengenezwa mara ya kwanza zimekuwa na changamoto kadha wa kadha, na nakumbuka mimi ni mmoja wa mawakili ambao tulikwenda mahakamani kwa ajili ya kuchallenge hizo kanuni za maudhui mtandaoni, lakini bahati nzuri zilifanywa marekebisho mara kwa mara, na sasa ukiziangalia zilivyo katika hali ya sasa zinakidhi baadhi ya mambo ya msingi kwenye masuala ya maudhui. Watu wamekuwa wakipata changamoto na wengine wameingia katika mgogoro wa kisheria kuhusiana na hizo na uendeshaji wa maudhui, kwa sababu kama alivyoeleza presenter kutoka TCRA, utaona sasa mara ya mwanzo kulikuwa hakuna usajili, lakini sasa walao kuna usajili, utaona mpaka watu wenye online contents, radio, TV zimesajiliwa na kwa idadi ya kutosha. Kwa maana hiyo, na zimewekewa misingi, kanuni zimeweka misingi kabisa ya utangazaji, kwa maana mtu atakayeanzisha online content yoyote anaye provide lazima afuate kanuni ambazo zimeelekezwa katika maudhui ili aweze kuzingatiwa. Kwa hiyo utaona, na tunawaambia vile vile wanachama ambao wengi ni waandishi wa habari ambao wengine wana run hizi online contents kwenye TV au radio, kwamba lazima wazingatie yale kanuni zilizotolewa kwenye maudhui, kwa sababu wakienda kinyume matokeo yake wataingia kwenye mgogoro na sheria. Kwa hiyo tumekuwa tukikazania hilo ili wazingatie kwa maana hiyo, na kuna vingine of course zina changamoto kwa maana hiyo, wengine wameshindwa ku catch up kutokana na namna ambavyo kanuni zimewekwa. Na ukiangalia siku zote kanuni au sheria zinatengenezwa wakati mwingine kwa ajili ya watawala wakati mwingine. Kwa hiyo utaona kuna mambo mengine ambayo yanadhibitiwa, content fulani istolewe kwa mfano. Wakiangalia kwa nini inadhibitiwa istolewe content, mtu anashangaa sana kwa nini inazuiwa nisitoe content hii kwa mfano. Lakini wakati mwingine watawala wanakuwa na makusudi ya kuhakikisha kwamba baadhi ya content isiende kwenye public. Hiyo nayo vile vile ni swala la msingi sana la kuangaliwa, na ndio maana CSO kama ya kwetu ya MISA imekuwa ikitoa trainings kwa waandishi wa habari, na kupitia kwenye hizo contents na mabadiliko yake sheria zilivyo, na namna ambavyo matakwa yanataka zile contents zifanye kazi, waelewe vizuri pale ambapo wanatakiwa watoe maudhui yao na katika kila kitu. Kwa sababu ukiangalia pamoja na sheria za kanuni za mitandaoni, bado kuna sheria zingine, kwa mfano the Cyber Crime Act ambayo ilitolewa na yenyewe vivile kiangalia inafanya kazi hand in hand na baadhi ya sheria hizo kama za kanuni za maudhui mtandaoni. Na hii cyber crime imekuja vizuri sana, imejaribu kudhibiti baadhi ya mambo ambayo watu walikuwa kitupa maudhui mtandaoni, the contents, bila kufuata sheria na taratibu. Imejaribu kudhibiti sasa namna ambavyo watu walikuwa wakiharas watu wengine kwenye mtandao, kwa mfano cyberbullying kwa mfano imedhibitiwa na hiyo na cyber crimes ambayo imekuja sasa. Unaona kabisa inadhibiti na vitu vingine kama hivyo. Masuala ya child pornography ambayo imekuwa yakitupwa kwenye mtandao, watu wamekuwa kama na sasa nimesema Jana tumezungumzia habari ya mmoja alikuwa na present kuhusiana na citizen journalism hapa. Everybody who has now gadgets like iPhone out, I mean telephone, smartphone, ameweza kuchukua tukio na akalirusha. Naweza kuona hata ni tukio la ajali limetokea, mtu analirusha, mtu dead bodies zinarushwa. Kwa hiyo cyber imejaribu kudhibiti vitu kama hivyo. Kwa hiyo utaangalia sheria zetu zimekaa katika namna ambavyo sasa walao swala zima la content ambayo inakuwa shared kwenye public walao ina udhibiti wa namna fulani. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that one, Advocate. I caught it towards the end. But I think I got a gist of what you were bringing for, especially as it relates to how some of the business is carried out in terms of the awareness around unwanted content that may be finding us, and that you indicated there's regulations that are in place that can deal with some of this. So it's actually a good thing. Now, the point I think that you were trying to make is that from the service providers, as either telcos or broadcasters, if they themselves don't regulate them in terms of what they believe is good content that must be there, linked to what the regulations might do, we might find ourselves in a situation where things don't work. Now, Joel, I need to check with you. We're going towards closing now. If you're aware of the concept of universal access in terms of what needs to happen from a regulatory perspective, I would want you to speak to that, because Andrew, the previous speaker, did actually a good job by indicating what the position in Tanzania is. In most cases, this is normally an element of business that is aimed at supporting through fees that entities must pay towards a pool, and they ordinarily will sit somewhere with a regulator. If you're comfortable with that, you can just say something around it, what you think it can do if applied correctly.
Okay, thank you once again. From what my colleagues have just said about the content, and even including how the regulations are set and the laws that guides, what I say, we are moving somewhere. What I can just say is that we are moving somewhere, and what we had before, it's not what we now see, because even the type of content that is produced, it's all talking about the current affairs and news, and not like before, where people used to use these platforms to spread propagandas and also misinforming the audience. So it's a big step, and actually we are moving somewhere. Thank you for the regulators for the big task they are doing.
Thank you, Joel. Ms. Masejo, in Botswana, do you have the Universal Service Fund as an entity that assists the industry? If so, can you talk to us about that, how it's being applied, if you have it?
Yeah, we actually do. We have the Universal Access and Service Fund. We call it the UASF. And BOCRA, as the regulator, is actually the secretariat to the fund. It does have a fully fledged board, but the UASF board reports to the BOCRA board. And we use that, what we do is we charge 1%